damn near 100 years old. It's pretty damn cool. So I was gifted this 1920s, 1930s Black & Decker Super Save valve refacer. It's in really good condition, a little bit dirty. I'm guessing it's in the 1920s. There's not a whole lot of information on this. I've done a bunch of research. Serial number is A108, and from what I can tell, this was made in the late 1920s. It's actually made before they patented their specific thing. There's no patent number on here, which is kind of interesting. It's black, and looking at the base here, I'm sure once I start cleaning it, that's gonna be, at one time was black too. Apparently in the 1920s, 1930s, there was a big push on to paint the bases and everything of machine tools this green color. And you'll notice this if you hang out like me and you hang out in machine shops everywhere, you'll notice this green color on a lot of equipment. Damn near 100 years old. It's pretty damn cool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of get started. It doesn't need a whole lot. It needs some cleaning. You can't really see it on this side. The previous owner, I know who he is, and pretty sure he's gone through it already. So I haven't really done a whole lot to it. It's missing the belts on this side, as you can definitely see. This is gonna be an interesting thing to talk about. The previous owner who gifted to me was running flat belts, which is really cool. On here, from the research that I found out, it's supposed to run round belts, round leather belts, and that's because of the diameter of this little guy here. And if you look at the way the pulleys are, they are concave, they slope down. It's really cool. Old machines talk to me. I don't know, it's just the history in this thing. Like, you have to remember, when this came out in the 20s, not a lot of places had power. So this, as you can see, the power cord has been upgraded. It used to be a cloth power cord. It has two switches, or it had two switches, one is missing. The reason it had two switches is we don't think of it today. Yes, it runs on 110, but back then, if you fired both of these motors on at the same time, there is a good chance you're gonna blow up that glass fuse. I have another switch here and a 3D printed plate. We're gonna put it back to two switches just so it's kind of back to normal. A lot of interesting features about this thing. To use, instead of using bearings, it's a bearing, but it also has a wick in here apparently, and that's when you fill these little oil holes. It absorbs into the wick. It hasn't been used in a little while, but like I said, it's all good to go. I can even turn it on, and you'll see it, the motor runs, fires up. So this motor down here is also running, but of course there's no belt to drive these. This turns freely. This is a little bit stiff, and I don't know if it just needs to be worked in a bit. The chuck works really well. Oh, there we go. I can smell the old, that old smell of varnish from the motors. But the first step is to kind of get it cleaned. As we walk through it, like I said, I'm gonna replace the switch. So we're apparently originally round. When they were doing the flat belts, if you look on here, you can see it has left a lot of rubber behind. Kind of scrapes off, and so I got a little bit of steel wool here. You can definitely see the high spot on the wheel, and we're gonna see. I don't actually know if the round belts are gonna work on this baby, but we're gonna give her a try and we're gonna go. But first thing to start with is, yeah, it looks pretty clean up front here. The back is pretty filthy, and we're gonna do some cleaning on it. So I'm just using some simple green here, and I don't want to spray it directly on. I just kind of scrimmating it on the rag. And then this is just a 3D printed little plastic scraper, so it doesn't wreck anything. I don't know how hard this paint is, and I don't know if I want to keep the original patina yet, or if I actually want to change it. Oh, you can see though, she's pretty gross in some areas. Actually, to be quite honest, in the old machinery type deal, this is not very dirty at all. Everything moves very freely, which is super nice. It's really, I think the most difficult part of this restoration is going to be making the belts. and seeing if the belt actually works. Because that's my biggest concern is I don't actually, all the research I could find says it takes round belts. And then when I went through it and I measured the pulleys and everything, especially this guy here, because of the radius of this pulley, it's so tight. A flat belt doesn't really like a tight turn like that. Not that it won't work, but, and then just basically going back and looking through things. I mean, this guy's done a fair bit of work, as you can see, you know, the switches were modified. I think I do, just for the simple fact that it's just in really nice shape. Like, it's not even crowded with old dirt and everything. And I think if I run this for a little bit and put some oil in there, she'll loosen right up. But he did use it to grind valves, so it's used. I see it has a grease nipple put here that I have no idea when the last time was greased. You know, for the most part, nothing's really broken. We got all these little oilers here. The Bakelite caps are a little bit cracked, which is kind of normal. I mean, they're close to 100 years old. And what these hold is these actually hold the contactors and brushes for the motor. Yeah, they're in good condition. Everything here is in good condition for a 100-year-old machine, right? I don't know, it's interesting when you clean these things because they tell you a story, right? Like, think about how many hands have gone over this machine before mine. The Jacobs chuck is pretty decent. I mean, it works. And it's going to be interesting to put a piece in here and check what the runout is. It's really cool, but all the angles that are marked out on it are clear. They're not. It's actually cleaning it up like really good. So it kind of confirms my suspicion I'm not going to have to paint this thing. It almost looks like I had a repair at one time, and we might have to get into this a little bit deeper. And so at one time there would have been another piece here, and this would be so you could take the bottom of the valve, and it's mushroomed a little bit there, and you'd make that nice and round before you put it into the chuck. You got to remember, when this came out in the 1920s, vehicles were just really taking off. Probably would not have been in your local garage. Would have more likely been in a machine shop. In Canada, it's Black & Decker Canada. They didn't have a factory in Canada at the time when this was made. Yeah, it definitely went to a shop, and I am sure it has really served its usefulness. Regardless, it's a super nice machine, and I'm excited to get it all cleaned up and working again. And I hope you are too. I really do. I hope I'm not the best video maker in the world, but I'm hoping that you guys enjoy this video. Put it back to 2 switches just so it's kind of back to normal. A lot of interesting features about this thing. Instead of using bearings, it's a bearing, but it also has a wick in here apparently, and that's when you fill these little oil holes. It absorbs into the wick. So it hasn't been used in a little while. Yeah, that's gonna look nice. So a little tangent here on Pick Quick Pro screwdrivers. I initially was introduced to these, I don't know, when I was about 15 or 16. And they're awesome, I love them, because you got all your bits here, they store them, works really good. You take these bits right out, put them in a drill, which is great. And I couldn't find them anywhere, and I found this one at our local community garage sale. Oh yeah, check that out, that looks beautiful. The reason why I think that this switch was, I'm gonna have to print out another one for this switch because that just looks awesome. Because this plate here sticks out, and that's just, I don't think they would have done that, but that looks really good. So yeah, that looks a lot better, I think. First one on. That spins up. Turn this guy on. Look at that. Perfect. That guy off. That guy off. had been thinking about making a jig to line these up when I put the belt through, but I found out these two V-blocks will work just good, and since I'm only doing 2 belts, it didn't really make sense to make a jig. So rather than make a jig, I'm just going to use these 2 V-belts. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stick it in there, heat up this piece of metal so it's red hot. Using a thicker piece of metal, a lot of people use razor blades. I just needed it to hold the heat longer just because I'm a one-man show, and by the time I got there, it wasn't hot enough. And even this first time when I make the belt, it wasn't quite hot enough. You know, I'm trying to line it up here and it's moving, and I heated up again. And by this time, that piece of metal, I didn't have it hot enough. It has cooled down. Sure, it's smoking, but it doesn't take much. And you'll see later when the belt breaks, I have to make a new belt. And all I did to make the new belt was just heat it a little bit longer and get it warmer. Now I should mention the stone was already dressed flat. So as you can see, the belt broke here, and that's because I didn't actually get it hot enough when I put it together, and I put it on too soon because it wasn't fused all the way to the core. So I just redid it. I used the same belt, heated it up again, got the metal a lot hotter, put it back on, and as you can see, this is the way to go. So at this point, I'm like, I'm gonna check it for run out, and it was really good. So as I went through here, the valve looks horribly that it's just not lined up at all. But that valve is damaged. It's got a big dent on the side of it. That's why I started for a test run. But as I rolled it over by hand, and of course I slid the belt off, but as I rolled it over by hand, I was getting about 1 thou to 2 thou run out. I put some oil in it, cleaned up the chuck a little bit, and I ended up getting it to, you know, an average of 2 thou out. So one of the things I'm going to have to do in the future is take that apart and just clean it up and maybe check what the bearing surfaces are like just to get that run out dialed in. But for the time being, this restoration is pretty much done. It's running great now. I'm going to put some beauty shots here of actually dressing up some valves just because we can. This machine's close to 100 years old, if not older, and worked like a charm. Again, if you look here, it looks like the run out on that valve is terrible. That's mainly because there's a big dent in the side of that valve. The run out's actually pretty good. I do have it sticking out quite far here. What I do in future runs is I put that valve a little bit deeper in. But this is a good run. It's running, it's good. I'm just gonna have to oil down the metal, and we're gonna have to do a part 2 on how I'm going to fix up that Jacob's chuck to get a lot less run out on it. If you've made it this far, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Leave me some comments if you have any ideas on this, and we'll go from there.